It's Thursday, which means we're thinking like entrepreneurs, and today we're going to talk about the age-old question of, do you need a business plan? Welcome to Think Like an Entrepreneur Thursday, where we discuss the mindset shift of going from an employee to an entrepreneur. I'm your host, Erin Smith, owner and founder of the Starters Club and author of the best-selling book, Master the Start. Welcome to this week, where we're going to talk about business plans. A lot of people get tripped up in, do they need a full-fledged business plan, and how much do you need to consider before you ever start your business? And unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to give you an easy answer to this, okay? Because it completely depends. What I can give you, though, are some key metrics that you really need to make sure you have down before you ever start any business. So first of all, understand any plan that you put together is a moving document, okay? Things are gonna change. You're gonna make some assumptions, you're gonna make some projections, but you're not gonna hit the nail on the head when you first create a business plan. So it's really important that you understand this is something that you revisit as you build your business and as you start to grow, and see where you're on track, where you might be missing the mark, and what you may need to do in order to get right back on track or hit that mark that you had set. Now, for business plans, the depth of the business plan is really going to depend on what you need. If you're going in front of investors, if you're going in front of a bank, if you're trying to get money, it's very important that you have this as detailed as possible. So the more money that's at stake that you have to put down, really, I think it's more crucial that you have a plan and a path of what's going to happen with that money. Now, a lot of businesses are started with as little as $5,000. Dave Ramsey put out a statistic that most businesses start with $5,000 or under. Now, that doesn't mean you don't need a plan. What that does mean is you may not have to get into the in-depths of the finances as much in a business plan, but here's what I think is really important. You have several areas defined, okay? First of all, you need to know what your business model is, okay? What your product or service is, the customers that it helps, and how exactly you're gonna make money. I know this sounds insanely silly, but I can't tell you how many businesses I consult with, and they just have this idea of starting a business with the hopes that people will just come, but they really have no idea of what they're gonna sell and how they're gonna sell those products to actually make money in a business. The next thing you're gonna have to understand is the financial piece. Now, it's not just a matter of what you're gonna make. You have to be very honest with yourself and understanding and dig as deep as you can. Again, this is gonna change as you grow, but what you're gonna need to put down, what you're gonna need on a monthly basis to maintain this business, and what you can expect from growth. General rule of thumb is double the cost, double the time, and you're usually right on track. But it's really important that you really set down and figure out, okay, how much money is this gonna take for me to build? Am I willing to put all that on the line? And how long is it gonna take before I start seeing a profit? So if you're gonna do something from your home that doesn't require much, again, you still need to be detailed because you need a plan of how you're gonna market, how you're gonna build, but you need to understand, the financial perspective and what you can expect coming in. If you're going to get a building and have to lease space and do other things, they're going to require more financial pieces from you before anybody leases property to you. So again, depending on what you need, have a very in-depth, it's really important that you have an in-depth understanding of what it is that it's going to cost you and how you're going to build. But again, it's just going to depend on who that business plan is in front of before it determines how detailed you need to get. Now, the third thing you need to understand is your marketing plan. People do not build a business and it comes, okay? I don't care what they tell you. I don't care the trickery they try to put out there. It does not happen. You need to understand before you get into business that first of all, you have a market for this, and we have a whole video of how to determine that. Secondly, you know who is defined in that market. And third, you have a plan of how you're gonna get in front of that market, okay? Field of dreams only applies that if you build it, it will come, only applies there, okay? It does not apply anywhere else in business. So before you get started, you really need to sit down and figure out your marketing plan. How you're gonna get in front of people, what's the game plan, the message you're gonna put out there in attracting people, and the game plan going forward with that. Fourth, I would highly, highly encourage you to really understand your competition and what your unique selling proposition is, okay? So more than likely, most of you will have some sort of competitors. So it's really important that you've defined what makes you stand out, where your value comes from, and what makes you stand out above all the rest. You have to have this defined. Now, I'm not saying we get into a whole thing about competitors in another video, but I think it's important that you're not bashing, you're not doing, you have to focus on you and what makes you great and how you're gonna put that out in your messaging and tie that in with your marketing. So once you're clear on that your product or service, actually you know how it solves a problem, you know how you're gonna make money, you know who's gonna buy that product, you also know your financials and understand what it's gonna take to start up and how much you need. You also know your competitors, who's out there, and what makes you different. And you also have a marketing plan in place. Again, even if it's just a few sentences for you, a few paragraphs for you personally, if you're just putting in $1,000 to your business, that's great. But sit down and define these things before you jump in. So if you have any questions or comments about business plans, please post them below. If you do want to get in depth and draw out a great business plan that's going to set you up for success, I have a course that will teach you all of it, so please click above to get access to that. And if you have any other questions, please, like I said, comment below. Would love to hear from you. And as always, thank you so much for watching Think Like an Entrepreneur Thursday. We'll see you next week, and it's Erin Smith of the Starters Club, where I believe everyone's got it in them to start a business. You just got to get started.